Tournament showcase an organization that has coaching and education involved. And that's in a day and age where it's probably more club teams, more tournaments, more games. You can't really take away from the fact that you could probably eclipse the number of reps that you're getting in a skill session than you will ever play in the games over the course of the tournament. So congratulations and great choice on your guys to be a part of something like this. I've done this a number of times through my career, whether I was a Division I assistant or assistant at Division III level, and now I'm a head coach at a Division III level, and I know the most important part of this is your guys' questions. So I'm going to give you my little brief synopsis of how I would advise any family that I've recruited or I currently recruit about the recruiting process, but I want to give you guys the floor to address any specific questions that you may have. Okay, the number one thing that I think is important for a young man, whether they're getting involved in this process as an 8th grader, 9th grader, 10th grader, or just someone that's going into their senior year, is this is a college search process. This is an institution, you're seeking an institution where you are looking for an education and hopefully the opportunity to do something you love and compete in intercollegiate athletics. So I continue to say, even with a family I had on my campus on Monday morning, that I want you to pick a school that you love going to. Okay? That comes from the young man, the young woman, and the family driving that process. I always start and end every recruiting conversation with that. We can go off in a lot of different directions with that. But I truly believe, and I think it's my job as a professional in the men's lacrosse world to be encouraging of families to find a school that you're going to be happiest, and then the lacrosse will take care of itself. All right? And I'll give you one story. I have some statistics about some things, and then I want to put the questions on you. At Elizabethtown College, I just finished my first year as a head coach. Very fortunate in my staff. I'm so blessed that my assistant coaching staff is here. Coach Conroy and Coach Lefevre, who are both working this event. Well, the seniors that I just inherited on a team that, when we just went to the NCAA tournament, we won our conference tournament, we beat the number 16 team in Division III during these guys' senior year. I was their third head coach that influenced their athletic career. They were recruited by one guy, that guy left. Another guy came in, was their coach and mentored them for 3 years. And then all of a sudden, in September of 2016, it was announced that some Polish guy was going to be a first-time head coach for what was going to be the most important year of their athletic lives. So, I talked to one man yesterday in particular that I love to death. I told him I'm going to use his name. I called him yesterday. His name's Cody Larkin. Cody Larkin just graduated. He's from Mount St. Joe in Baltimore. He was not recruited by anyone, okay, to go through this all this experience. But he chose Elizabethtown College for a couple reasons. He had some friends already in the institution that he knew loved it there. It had a business program that he got excited to go to and get involved in internships, career opportunities. Okay, and he met with a coach that said, I'll give you a chance to come out and play for us. Cody Larkin chose Elizabethtown because he felt that's where he was going to be the happiest. Cody Larkin, when we beat a team on April 18th that was 16 in the country and has had a program longer than my father and grandfather have been alive, he went 3-1. And I think that had a lot to do with that Cody Larkin, as a freshman and a sophomore and a junior, really loved going to his 10 a.m. economics class or his 9 a.m. accounting class. And he ended up being somebody that I'm going to be talking about to recruits and families that I'm recruiting or like yourself for the next 20 years. So that's my little heartwarming story about the letting you guys be the driver's seat. But I want to then get it into where your guys' thoughts are with how this whole recruiting stuff goes, whether it's the new NCAA regulations and things like that. So I will say, late spring, the NCAA has come out with that a college coach cannot establish contact with your son or daughter until September 1st of their junior year. That contact includes me emailing me phone calling, me texting. The family can send as much as they want, okay? And I know this from being a Division I assistant coach, those schools can have an approved by their compliance office general response to you that hopefully outline what the rules and timelines are, but also can have a very general camp invitation, okay? But that is the rule right now. I can't sit here and act like I know what Division I programs are doing. That's not my job anymore. I get to build my program. But that is the rule right now as far as contact and establishing a timeline. I will say, because this question is going to come up ultimately, what should I be sending the college recruiter? Okay, the college head coach. What's truly important is that your initial email has a couple criteria that we're ultimately as coaches going to be asking for. Okay? That involves who you are, what high school, what position, that's all well and good. But also maybe you're a little bit of an academic profile piece on you. If you're later in your high school career and you just finished your junior year, going into your senior year, or even going into your junior year, you have some established things on your transcript, like include that. Include that. That just helps us gain a better picture of you as a student athlete that we're going to have to address those questions down the line. In addition to that email, I think what is important this day and age by the variety and the vast amount of emails that we get is a little video link just showcasing your abilities. All right, we don't have to have the Coen brothers and it's got to be an H-step. It doesn't have to be filmed by H-Bone and it costs like 10 grand from a recruiting service. Nothing like that. But just something that's easy for the coach to click on, know exactly who's playing, and know exactly what the numbers are on the jersey. Okay, that is your 30-second elevator speech to you potential business majors out there. All right, of your athletic resume to a coach. Okay, that gets our brains going. Like, okay, I just saw something I really liked athletically. I'm going to read further into this email and find out where I could go see this young man. So, if you are playing in these events, include that. And then one thing that I think is extremely important in this day and age that you are going to need to is contact information of someone that can vouch for you. A high school coach, a high school football coach, a club director, someone that I can lean on through the recruiting process and find out where this young man or young woman, a little bit more about them aside from what number they're wearing, what hand of attackman they are, and what color their helmet was, whether it's a club or high school helmet. Okay. Every school is a little bit different in recruiting criteria, but things that diversify you and points of contact and people that can act as a vehicle to speak on your behalf, those are things that can really help the conversations go further with a college coach. Okay, so initial email, how to showcase yourself, and you picking the best school that's going to best fit your needs, and I think are the general ones that you've probably heard a million times before. Let's start with some questions because it's going to open up to a lot of other things. Yes, sir?
I got a question. The Jacksonville State person stated that Division I is really under the September 1 of the junior year. Is Division 2 and 3 the same under the NCAA rule?
The question is Division 2 and 3 on the same timeline of September 1st of the senior year with contact? The answer is no for Division 3. Division 3 is completely open lines of communication. So to a 2019 right now, I can email, text, and respond freely. Why is that? Division I is has scholarship money allotments, and those coaches have more of their institution's financial interest. Which what was happening was that was putting pressure on families in 8th and 9th grade. So Division III, because I cannot sit across from a young man and talk and offer him athletic-related money and scholarship. You're choosing a Division III school because that's where you want to go and you want to compete with. So that's a great question. Division III are not binded by that calendar that Division I is. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
What about 2?
Division II, I believe, is under the... I don't want to speak for that because they operate under scholarships. Their allotment is 10.8 scholarships. I do not know their timeline with regards to communication. I'm sorry about that. So. All right, so I did some homework because I was excited to talk about this. I went on the NCAA research website about estimated probability of competing in college athletics, okay? And all this stuff is on NCAA stuff. And they did just broke down based on a high school athletics participation survey. This data is from the 2015-2016 academic year because it had a full year of the data to be vetted through. All right, on the overall percentage of the athlete playing in high school that goes and plays in college, okay? And now I'll leave this up here, or you can find it yourself. This was updated on March 10, 2017. Men's lacrosse was the largest percentage of high school to NCAA athlete amongst all sports, including baseball, basketball, cross country, football, ice hockey, everything. And second in women's sports. Anybody want to take a guess at what percentage that is? This is just overall participation. Has nothing to do with scholarship. 12%. 12% of the high school athletes playing lacrosse will compete at the NCAA level upon graduation. I read that and it kind of made sense to me. And I bring this up from the recruiting type of perspective, guys and girls. So if you're on if there's 100 people, competing in the 2018 division that's out there amongst all the states and whatnot, you can assume that 12, let's round up, 13, are going to be a 4-year participant at the NCAA level. Bringing that to the recruiting side of things, I say this every time I get to speak. What are you doing currently through your recruiting process that's diversifying you against those other people competing for potentially an opportunity at an NCAA institution? Like I use this example, how many left-handed attackmen are out there? Well, typically in a recruiting, from a coach's perspective, you only want to bring in 1 or 2 left-handed attackmen. So what are the things that you're doing now and hopefully early and even later in your high school career, all right, to diversify you as a better student, as a better citizen, as a better, ambassador in your high school, that when we come down and we have all these emails from everybody, what are going to be the things that diversify you that make you more marketable? Okay, so the criteria that I use at my institution at Elizabethtown College is pretty similar to if you were at the earlier talk for the Division I coach from Paul Richards from the University of Richmond. We kind of have our own criteria that we use. All right. I like to be working with this type of young man. Someone that's a multi-sport athlete, someone that comes from a program with a winning tradition, all right, someone that's in a locker room, whether they're competing for a football state championship, a hockey club organization, someone that's just around winning. And number 3 is a leader amongst their group of peers. Doesn't have to be a captain, but maybe it's somebody that's in the peer ambassadors group or a peer mentor. Or those little things are going to diversify you against all the other left-handed attackmen in the country, against all the other 82%, all right, that might not have that opportunity to get and play at the NCAA level. So I really like that this was a younger audience, because you have an opportunity to get involved with things that are going to not only make you, a more marketable candidate, but you're just going to have more experiences that when you do get, and you are part of that 12% that's in the NCAA locker room, those extra experiences are going to help you have a greater reward and more things to fall back on when you're a college athlete. Because as a college athlete, your time demands are different than all the other people on campus. Especially, if you want to go play and compete in the NCAA championship, or you want to compete at the Division I level. So I highly encourage families, don't give up on everything to play in another club event. All right? Don't quit this sport just because you want to focus more on wall ball. I guarantee that the guy going to the rainy, cruddy soccer practice on a Tuesday in the fall, he's doing more than the person that maybe took off that wall ball day that they were going to have to focus on lacrosse, that's someone that just quit all sports to play lacrosse. And then when you get into an NCAA environment, all right, you're going to have more relatable athletic skills. You're going to know how to manage your time better when you have, 30 hours a week outside of the classroom involved in what you're doing on from what your professors are demanding of you. So stay involved with a lot of stuff. It's only going to help you open more doors for certain institutions to go to study and give you more experiences to fall back on when the demands of being a college athlete, the 12% that get there, right? More to be successful. So that's my speech, and revolves that regards to what this number is. It's funny if you break down that 12%, 2.9% Division 1, 2.3% Division 2, and 7.1% Division 3. So 2% of all the high school lacrosse players out there in the world, in the men's lacrosse world, are playing at the Division 1 level. And if you don't know this, the full allotment of scholarships in Division 1 is 12.6. If you ever hear somebody say, I got a full ride, they're probably full of soup. All right? Rosters in Division 1 are between 40 and 50. You have 12.6 scholarships to break up amongst those. So it happens, but it's very, very rare. I'll just get that rumor out of the way right now. I printed off the women's side of things too. 12.9%, okay, of high school female athletes go and play at the NCAA level. 3.8% Division 1, 2.6% Division 2, and 6.5% Division 3. So pretty amazing. You know, pretty amazing this day and age when it's about more club games, putting a commitment on Twitter, and then calling it a day. But so just think it's my job to inform everybody about this. Give me some questions. Yes, sir.
Talk about the definitely Division 1. You're a Division 1 coach. You got a goal to coach my kid inside.
Yes. The question is if, like at this event here, there's Division 1 coaches out there coaching right now.
Say January, I want to hire a kid to coach my training goal. I think the coach is also in the Division 1 school. Is that legal?
That can happen per compliance department. Okay, there is NCAA rules that would permit. I know, like, let's say your son's a 6th, 7th, 8th grader. Yes, a coach could work with them. Once you enroll into high school, you become a PSA, potential student athlete. That's when you are protected by these NCAA rules, and it is not common in some compliance or like at Richmond. No. The question was: can an NCAA Division 1 coach be a private coach? You know, for my student, and through middle school, yes. When they enter high school, it can happen through like maybe a different club. Okay, but that coach being a private contractor and doing work in your own backyard, that would be not permissible by most accounts. So, but when you enter high school, you become a PSA, a potential student athlete, which means all these recruiting rules apply to you. Yes, sir. How many Division 1 teams are there? There's 71 Division 1 men's programs, and that includes St. Bonaventure, who just announced that they are starting a program. 71. Over 275 and growing in Division 3. So, Division 2, that's growing rapidly as well. 5 years ago, it was like 20. Now there's about 40. I apologize to Division 2 coaches in the room. I do not know the exact number of Division 2 institutions. Yes, sir.
About first contact, how do you like to be aware of videos?
The question was about first contact, okay, and what should be, how to put your best foot forward. Is that okay to say answer it that way? Yeah, that first email is the shaking hands, okay, and the most important things in that email is that it goes, you have the correct coaches. If you want to email Chris Brzezinski at Elizabethtown, put Coach Brzezinski in there and not Coach Singer at Catholic. Okay, when you're writing that there. That's the first bugaboo. All right, make sure that you're emailing the coach. I understand that you're trying to market yourself to many coaches, but that little thing, that could be the negative diversifier against all the other left-handed attack when they going back to my story earlier. Tell me what your academic interests are. If you say, I'm interested in 4-year engineering, I get jazzed up. I can offer 4-year accredited engineering, and we have unbelievable business, but 4-year engineering is very specific to us. Say what your academic interests are. Say who you play for for your high school and that coach's name, the club, and that coach's name and contact. throw a easily viewed recruiting video. That can be done with a family that's savvy enough to stand in the bleachers and just know. I got a joke. I hope that I'm not calling any parents out here. But anytime I see a mom or dad holding an iPad at the sideline like this, I get really nervous that I'm going to have to watch that film later because it's amazing. You know, and if the first point of contact of me getting a visual on your son is work for me, I'm not going to put as, you know, I might give that 10 seconds instead of 30 seconds, and that can be the difference. So just, you don't have to go quick crazy on the video, but just something that makes the coach easy to read, and then any academic profile things that you could get. If I got an email the other day, hey coach, I just got my SATs back, 1330. I'm pumped. That way, he can now, I know he's going to get maybe the highest scholarship levels that we can academically offer that young man. Anything that paints that picture of you, gets our wheels spinning, all right, and then we put the time out on the road. That's why you see all these coaches here kind of trying to see these young men and women.
When do you like to receive that? What age?
The question was, when do we like to receive that? That is going to differ program to program. I'm getting emails currently from 2019s and 2020s. I kind of, a few 2019s, I'll say, hey, I'll do my best to see you. But my focus right now is in the rising senior class. That's just my philosophy. If recruiting was what it is today, I would probably be, selling tires somewhere. Just not being a coach. I love being a coach. I was a late bloomer, so I look for the late blooming kids. I want to work with who I am, or who I like to be around. But I do get emails from the early interest. I know when I was recruiting at Richmond, getting an email from a young man, and don't be an every week thing, but maybe once a month a little update. Hey coach, I just got an A on my AP biology stuff. That we all just kind of file away. And now that when it comes time for contact or when we're ready to recruit that age group, we already have that little piece of the your academic, your athletic, your portfolio there. It changes from family to family. Some young men, they know exactly where they want to go early in their high school career. Other people are figuring it out. That's why it's kind of driven by you and when you're ready to make your choice. I don't think it's my job to tell you when you're ready to make your college decision. I think it's my job to give you all the information you can so that you can make the best decision. That's my philosophy. Any athletes, any competitors out there? Guys in the jerseys have a question? I appreciate you guys in the front row. That's one of my criteria. I'm going to play E-Town here. You don't have to be right there, but you're not in the back. This came up earlier. I'll bring it up. The Prospect Day. Okay, the Prospect Day. I think that the Prospect Day, and I'm sure you guys get hammered with emails and invitations about it. That, I think, is a great vehicle on finding out where you could potentially want to play. I'll give you this example. If you're younger in your athletic career right now and you're just getting started, you're coming into 9th grade or 10th grade, the showcase events where there's a tons of kids playing from everywhere, all right, and you're sitting on the sideline and there's 20, 25 coaches, that's an excellent vehicle for us coach to sit down there and just get a visual on who out is running around. When you get later in your career and you know a little bit more about what you're seeking through your college search process, if you know that your top 3 schools are I'll just use the ones I've worked at, Gettysburg, Lynchburg, Richmond, and Elizabethtown, and that's your top 4, find a way to get on that campus, and the Prospect Day is a great vehicle to know what you really would be getting into if you ultimately chose that school and it worked out with that school. I think that you don't have to go to 100 different tournaments. You can just go specifically to where you want to get your education, get your diploma. I think that the Prospect Days are a great vehicle. It was a great one that we used at Richmond. Every single Prospect Day we held, there was a member of the incoming class from that came to that. We always had a guy come from there. And if I'm fortunate enough to have children, that's what we're going to do. You get one big showcase, you get one big tournament, you get 3 Prospect Days, pal. sorry, little Brzezinski, like that's how it's gonna go. And we'll figure it out from there. So, but that'd be my advice for my unfortunate enough to children later on. But. Yes, sir.
And is D3 more widespread across the country? Division 3, or is it still mostly east Colorado?
The question was revolving around geography with Division 3. We're all over the country. You know, we had Colorado College was in the NCAA tournament. Colorado Springs. You know, there are programs growing out in the Midwest. Utah going Division 1 is great. So that's where I really love to put it back on you, that there are schools everywhere playing lacrosse at some competitive level and all over the country. And your criteria of where you want to go to school, geography could be one of them. That's a great starting point. You know, my college search process had to do with a business program, had to do with geography, had to do with, you know, a coach that kind of didn't tell me I was going to play right away. I sat on one head coach's desk and he promised championships. I sat on one coach's desk and he said, yeah, I don't know if you're going to make it. Well, he didn't say I don't know if you're going to make it. He says, I don't know if you ever play. It's going to be ultimately what you wanted, how much you wanted to put in. My mom heard that, my dad heard that, and I heard that, and I said, let's go. You know, this is I was inspired from that moment. So you driving that is going to help you find where schools are. I'll use my experience. I went to Lynchburg College, about 2 hours west of here. When I received, they were letters back then, not emails. When I received my first letter from Lynchburg, I assumed it was in Tennessee. You know, and then all of a sudden, I go online, I do my homework on Lynchburg, Virginia. You know, okay, they just won the conference. They got this business program where a lot of the guys in the team are a part of. I'm going to go do my homework. Went on campus. Holy moly, Mom, like cancel those other ones. I want to go down here. And I guess ultimately, if you just don't let the recruiting be the driver of the process, but you let lacrosse open up doors to institutions that you might not have otherwise known existed, and doing your homework on teams that either, all right, geography, or who made the NCAA tournament, or who's got great engineering, or who's got great business. If you let lacrosse be the vehicle that makes you more informed in finding an institution where you're going to be happiest, that's when this recruiting stuff becomes fun. And it's not crazy about going to the school where I'm going to be the left-handed attacker. You know, to be the left-handed attacker, you got to do some things that, you know, or the goalie. You know, we talked about the goalie position earlier, sir. It's like, yeah, we do our homework on the young man. I'm going to ask how he is in the hallways, not just on game day. I want to know what's it like on a rainy Tuesday after a loss. When we lose to York 20-8, all right, which we did this past year, I want to know that I'm going to have an awesome practice with that young man the next day. You know, and because then we're going to end up building something great. So you finding out those answers to the questions is going to make you ultimately happier, and I'm going to do the work. But that's my story. I didn't know what Lynchburg was until lacrosse opened that door for me. Yes, sir.
Sorry if you covered this earlier. Do you have reach out and have more engagement with a high school coach or a club coach?
The question was, do we reach out to the high school or the club coach? The answer is both. Okay, some club coaches have been in the game so long and they have developed relationships with different programs across. That's a great first point of contact. I value the club coach. I reach out to them. I will say that from where I've come from, and I only can speak for myself and institutions that I've represented to an extent, the high school coach is important to me because, as I just mentioned, the high school coach does not have a financial interest in getting your son or daughter placed in an organization. You know, the club is great for getting the exposure, but I've also dealt with some club programs that they'll tell a kid that he's the brightest bulb in the shed, you know, he's never had a blip of trouble. All right, and I call the guidance counselor, and, you know, he might have been something ill-advised, you know, at prom or something like that, or the year before at homecoming or something like that. So relationships with both are key. But that's going to differ program to program. So I've talked to high school football coaches, you know, before. I've been to hockey games. But some programs get more in depth with that than others. So more. But these are things that you got to ask the coaches when you get on campus and meet with them. And you can get on campus as early as you want, guys. All right, you can get on campus and visit as early as you want. With the September 1st communication, going into your junior year, you can't schedule a one-on-one meeting with that head coach at touring school, but you can get on campus at that institution and figure out if you like it or not. But then when you meet with those coaches, when it's time, when you're going through your selection process, ask them the hard questions. Ask them, what about study abroad? I love it. I don't care about the 16 practices that you'd miss in the fall of your junior year if you go study abroad. You know, we'll make up those 100 shots and 20 ground balls and 3 inter-squad scrimmages. We can't make up that opportunity for you to go live in another country for a period of time, establish relationships, diversify your resume for when you're applying for jobs. Other coaches, they might say, hey, you know, it's going to be a competitive year. I don't know who's going to be the starter. If you go study abroad, I don't know your commitment level. But that's going to differ coach to coach. That's going to differ coach to coach. Yes, sir.
Well, the winning program, coming from a winning program, if you're not going to do your high school team things.
That's okay. Hey, I got a lot of guys with our high school team stinks on my team. Trust me. We use those 3 criteria as a benchmark just to kind of what's going to work in our culture and organization. I can say this, that everybody in my organization has at least 1. Some have 2. Few have 3. If you're out in a winning program, that's okay. It's just that's a diversifier to me. If you're on a winning state championship soccer team, that's important to me. You know, if I want to get depth, this is speaking more about Elizabethtown, but I truly believe that if you've been a part of any type of winning or championship level of a program, you know what it's like to be in a locker room of 30 other winners, and that's an extremely powerful thing on your commitment off the field and all the little things that go into being a championship caliber. So that's getting in depth to that criteria, but you know, I got guys that have been captains and multi-sport athletes, and they won like 3 high school games. So that's just the level of criteria that we use. I know we got some new people coming in and coming down. We've addressed a lot of questions. I don't know when your guys' schedules are, but if there's new families that would like to repeat questions, I have no problem answering them. That's what we're here to do. Yes, ma'am.
Talk a little bit about multi-sport athletes. I think you might have already addressed it.
The question was more about multi-sport athletes. Each coaching philosophy and recruiting philosophy will differ from program to program. I can speak for myself and University of Richmond in town that I love it. I love it. It breaks my heart when I get an email saying, Coach Brzezinski, I'm so excited to let you know that I just quit football to focus on lacrosse. What if that guy loved football? You know, or heck, we went 38% facing off. We treated our riding and clearing, my assistants here are going to laugh, like when we just teach the cover 2, cover 3, like I used all those little football related schools. And the story I gave earlier is when you go to that Tuesday in the rainy, muddy, cold November football practice, you're probably having an experience that's going to better prepare you for the demands of competing at the NCAA level than the person that just said, I'm going to do wall ball on that Tuesday in the rain, and then ultimately he's going to not do that. So how you balance it, that's where I give all the credit back to the parents. How you balance going to a weekend recruiting event or going to this. I would always tell you, go with the program that you're committed to and winning that football game, winning that soccer game, winning that volleyball game. So I encourage it. I was blessed that I was a multi-sport athlete, so those are more fun guys to be around, in my opinion. So. Yes, sir.
What's the right age to start video and games?
The right age to start video and games. That's an excellent question. It's going to be relevant to the recruiting timeline of your institution. For instance, right now I love seeing anything that's dated in 2017, or the fall of 2016. I'm a Division III institution that's recruiting rising seniors. If even the timeline has been a lot slowed down tremendously at the NCAA Division I level, but you start getting into your sophomore year, I think that's a good time to film some games. But also, I don't think you have to buy these things till after they're done, but like, you just lit it up and in the game of your life, you might want to keep that in the back pocket, for later. or even for your own pleasure. So, but that's great. I had a question earlier. Talked to a family about the goalie. I've never seen a goalie highlight where a goal was scored. Okay, so just if you're the family of a goalie, all right, that little highlight film is a great 30-second snapshot to who you are as an athlete, your size, and everything. But if possible, have a couple full-length game films that you could just send a download link for, or you could send it through a Google Drive. Ultimately, from recruiting goalies and working with goalies, we're going to want to see you play live. We might want to watch a full film, but the highlight is still going to be the first vehicle to get our wheels going a little bit. Same with the face-offs. I've never seen a guy on a face-off film lose. It's amazing. I'll say this. I just did a camp at Goucher College, Academic Aces. I had an opportunity to have this exact talk, but with 4 other coaches. All right. There's 5 institutions there. There was an institution, I see a hat of one of them, right, that had 9,000 students. Then I was sitting next to a coach of an institution that institution had 1,000 students. All 5, including mine, and all made the NCAA tournament. There is a school out there that you might not even know about that could fit those important criteria in your institution search process. Whether it be school size, whether it be academic curriculum, whether it be how close to home, whether it be whatever. All right. But if you can find that institution that you're going to love going to that 10 a.m. on a Monday course, all right, I know you're going to put and have a greater experience when you go to practice at 4. Okay? And then for the people that were here earlier, I think about guys like myself or Cody Larkin, and those that chose a school, they made lacrosse work, and they left the place better than they found it. Maybe that's a little bit more the Division III model, all right? Division I is a job. I've worked that job. Division III is a major commitment. Okay, but that's the biggest difference I can tell you. Division I is a job because those coaches have a lot longer of a calendar to tell you when and what you're doing. Division III, if you want to be competing in the NCAA tournament, it's a great commitment. That's why the statistics are 12% from high school to college that go and compete at the NCAA level. But if you are the driver of your own process and finding an institution that you're going to be proud of that diploma in 4 years, I know you're going to put more in to your athletic career, and you're going to have more fruit and more yield on all the good things that you'll do in and out of the classroom. So that is it's just my experience with this game. I'm very lucky to be a part of it. I will stick around after. I'm here all day tomorrow. I think I'm doing this again tomorrow. But if you had any specific questions, I want to thank Brine and Joel at Brine National and Joel and everybody for the opportunity to just share a little bit of the story through my process and what this game can do for you and your son if you get in the driver's seat and you find a place where you're going to really, really have a great time. All right, but good luck out there. Have fun. Drink some water and go compete. Okay.